Pandora and other streaming music services are facing increased competition in the online music world as Sony launches its own streaming service. Sony is teaming up with major record labels to cut out the middlemen and have more control over revenue. Sony is also entering the video-on-demand field with its own premium video service. For more on these initiatives, we're joined by Tim Schaaff, president of Sony Network Entertainment. He also spent 15 years working at Apple. Welcome to Bloomberg West.
Hi, Emily. Great to be here.
So, first of all, this unlimited music service. When I first heard about this, I thought, what a great idea. Why didn't you guys do this sooner?
Well, we were looking at the music industry for quite a while before we decided to jump back in. As you know, there's quite a number of players in the market today. And we wanted to make sure that our products were going to be ready to be able to really highlight this service. We had just completed an initiative to take our products onto the network over the last couple of years. And so most of the product line is now network connectable, which means it's a great place for us to be able to bring our own services to life so that we can show customers what we really are aspiring to.
So who do you see as your main competitors? I mean, iTunes obviously has the digital download music market cornered. Are you going to be a competitor to Apple?
Well, here's the way we look at it. There are literally hundreds of different service providers around the world providing music services today. But one of the things that we've noticed is that almost a large majority of the customers have never purchased a downloadable song from iTunes. And then on top of that, when we look at all these other service providers, companies like Pandora and Spotify and others, one of the things that we notice is that they have very little money to be able to get into the market and drive their businesses forward. And we looked at the assets that Sony has and we said, this is a great combination. We've got a great opportunity because we're going to have hundreds of millions of products in the market that can offer these services. We've got distribution, we've got the capability to market and really invest in these capabilities over the long run. And we thought that would be a great, powerful combination as we try to capture this new marketplace.
Tim, what do you mean drive their businesses forward? I mean, Pandora's raising some money in an IPO right now. They've put a lot of venture money to work for many years. Mm-hmm. Their business is growing really quickly in terms of users, and even revenues are growing. What aren't they doing that you'd be doing if you were them?
Well, I think one of the big challenges for these companies is to be able to make a profit and be able to run the business long enough.
That's a crazy idea for
it's a concept.
A new company.
You know, we announced earlier this year that we are targeting $3 billion of revenues by 2013 with a healthy 10% operating profit. So we think that we're going to be in a position to be able to bring something of value to the customers as well as to the market.
And very different in the way that you guys have got a hardware component to your offering. I mean, I've got Sony stuff in my house. I've got a Sony Blu-ray disc player that's got Sony music stuff on it that I wouldn't have bought for the Sony music stuff. No offense, but it's there in the hardware. That's also got to be a disadvantage, too, because of the disparate way Sony works. How do you work your way through that?
Well, this has been one of the great aspects of the project over the last couple of years. We have been able to work with our partners around the company who build these devices, and we've been able to integrate the software that we need into the devices at the same time that we've been building the power of the network over the last 4 years, starting with the PlayStation 3 back in 2006. Over the past 4 years, we've been able to get more than 74 million registered accounts into that service infrastructure. So it's a very strong foundation. And now that our products are all networked, we have a great opportunity to be able to tell our story.
All right, Tim, stick around. We're going to talk to you a little bit more after the break about the video-on-demand offering that you guys have. And I want to talk to you about the video-on-demand service that you've started rolling out. Big competitors in the market already, Netflix, Amazon. Obviously, they have a huge head start. How do you compete with that?
Well, we've got a very large installed base of PlayStation 3s in the world. We've got tens of millions of customers. We're taking a global approach from the beginning, so we're not just operating a service here in the U.S. We're already live in 9 countries around the world. And unlike some of the other service providers, we're focused on new content. So it's not about the reruns, it's about the new stuff. So we're working with the studios and other publishers to bring the most current, most up-to-date new releases to the market, and we think that's what consumers are looking for.
But to be clear, this video is only available on Sony devices, right?
Today they're available on Sony devices, and any PC as well can run the software that will allow you to access that, and over time we'll make it available on a wide range of mobile products as well.
So what about Walmart's service, Vudu? It's kind of been a dark horse here. It's available on a range of different devices.
Including Sony devices.
Are they a big competitor for you?
Well, it's an interesting dynamic because my business is two pieces. We build and operate our own services, but we also work with all of these companies to bring their services to life on our products. So we're the ones working with Vudu and working with Netflix. It's a tension, but it's a natural part of doing business, and I think it's going to be a great way to bring new consumers to the products, both for our service as well as for our devices. So we're excited about it.
Tim, what's the metric that governs or is going to govern these deals that, you know, Netflix and Vudu and Amazon and Apple are all trying to strike? Is it a per rental cost, or per rental value, I should say, of content? And is that about $1?
Well, I mean, the reality is the content pricing is set by the studios independently, and it varies widely depending on which content you're talking about. If you're talking about catalog content, you can get deals the way Netflix did, where you're acquiring a big collection of content at one time. They pay a single price.
That's the Starz deal.
That's essentially the Starz deal.
And that deal is hated throughout all of Hollywood right now,
well,
right?
there may be some changes. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the new content is priced on a sort of per unit basis, if you will, and anybody can get those licenses if they've got the right, the right kinds of devices and content protection schemes available. So it's a very competitive marketplace, and I think the models are going to be changing a lot in the years to come because we're exploring what is the right combination for consumers.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's clear that Netflix has got, they spent a ton on marketing, and they've gathered all those subscribers, but it's clear that the consumers seem to sort of like the monthly charge, whether it's an HBO fee on your cable bill or a Netflix monthly charge, but the studios want to charge on a per unit basis like Apple and Amazon. Do you get a sense of where that battle is right now in terms of which business model is going to win?
It's a dynamic and really fascinating issue because on the video side, everybody says we love subscriptions. On the music side, everybody says, I'm not sure the subscription is the perfect model. And we think they're both powerful in certain ways, and we're going to be investing in subscriptions as well as in so-called a la carte models.
How about this tension between the studios and the movie theaters? I mean, how soon do you plan to show your movies on demand as opposed to in the theaters?
Well, clearly customers are excited about being able to get that content online as soon as possible, and we're working with a wide range of studios to be able to make that possible. But I think there's going to be enough tension in this ecosystem here for a while so that it's going to take time, it's going to be a process, and we're going to get there step by step.
The theaters, some of them, are saying they're not going to run the movies at all. I mean, are you willing to make that compromise?
Well, I think the issue here for the theaters is they're looking for how do they protect their business model. It's no different than any other established business that sees change coming. I don't think we have to directly get involved in that, but I think we're going to be playing a part to try to move the bar. Customers would like to get that content sooner. We offer the content as soon as we can get our hands on it, and it's definitely going to make a big change in the way the industry is evolving. And I still think the theaters have a big role to play, but I think things are changing.
All right. Technology, the change is undeniable. Tim Schaaff, thanks so much for joining us,
Thank you,
President
Emily.
of
Thanks,
Sony
Cory.
Network Entertainment. Great to have you.